Well, a visibly panicked Donald Trump finally emerged after spending an entire weekend in hiding from cameras and microphones as the massively successful and peaceful No Kings protests humiliated him on the global stage. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One in a flight back to Washington, D.C., Trump was visibly triggered, reprimanding reporters, giving dishonest and demented answers, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we have several clips to look at here because they cover a wide array of topics. Let's dive right in.
On Harvard,
Who are you with?
I'm with the Washington Post.
That's what I thought.
On Harvard, you said the other week that you had reached a deal, but we haven't heard anything. What's the holdup?
Well, we reached a concept of a deal, but it's pretty complicated because under this deal would be $500 million. They're going to open up trade schools. And I love the idea of trade and trade schools by Harvard. So, they get into like a vocational type school. And the one problem with it, it's very complicated. When do they start? How do they start? Who do they use? There's 1,000 different things. And we may just charge them a fine, big fine, $500 million fine.
Mr. President.
And they won't do it again. And if they do, we'll have to just charge them another fine.
So again, this is Donald Trump engaging in his censorious war with college universities like Harvard, trying to bully them into submission. He has found some mixed success there, unfortunately. Some universities have been intimidating to cut a deal with Trump. We'll see what happens. I will point out that Governor Gavin Newsom of California, within California, told public universities in California that if they cow themselves to Trump threats, like if any California public university bends the knee to Trump in this way, then Newsom will pull their state funding, which will also hurt them really bad. So his thing is, you will stand up to this authoritarian, or we're going to use the same levers of power to punish you for caving to him. And I appreciate that ruthless realpolitik coming from Gavin Newsom. Here's another clip.
Do you feel that Israel was justified with striking when it did?
Striking where?
In Gaza, today and overnight?
I'd have to get back to you on that. I'd have to get back.
What is the next step?
Because we're going to be determined. All of that's is under consideration right now. It's under review.
So as we discussed yesterday, I know this channel typically sticks to domestic politics, but as we discussed yesterday, for all intents and purposes at this moment, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas appears to be effectively broken. Again, we'll see what happens, but this is, of course, just totally undercuts the bullshit that Trump has been trying to sell the American people, and unfortunately, so many of them lapped it up, including Time magazine with that giant picture and portrait of Trump that Trump hated. He's like, it's not a flat, they disappeared my hair. But Time bent over backwards. Oh my God, his triumph, his success, as if the ceasefire would be permanent, as if a ceasefire is a peace deal. Many of us who were skeptics, who remembered that President Biden and Donald Trump worked together to broker a ceasefire at the very end of Biden's presidency, and it was shattered on Trump's watch, knew the ceasefires were not guaranteed. So we were like, let's just wait a minute. Let's just see what happens. And you can see that Trump is panicked about this because it totally humiliated him on the global stage, because he's like, yeah, this is a ceasefire, it's permanent, it's peace in the Middle East. And we have seen that just 100% refuted.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, they are
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money, they have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can.
That's the real thing. So again, remember that Donald Trump campaigned on this idea of America first. And to his MAGA cultists, what America first meant is that we were not going to be spending taxpayer dollars on helping other nations. Now, I don't have an issue with spending taxpayer dollars to help other nations, because I do believe that even though we are a nation, we live in a global community, and what happens in other nations can have an impact in the United States. So not just for sheer altruism, but also for selfish purposes, we need to have a vested interest in what's going on. But that cuts against Trump's rhetoric and Trump's promises on the campaign trail. So even as the economy just free falls because of Trump's disastrous tariff policies, because of his disastrous economic management, he is spending $20 billion taxpayer dollars to help out a buddy. He just said it. I like the president of Argentina, so I'm going to help him. Well, asshole, our foreign policy shouldn't be based on who you personally like, especially when you promise to put America first, and America is hemorrhaging on your watch, and you're spending limited taxpayer dollars to simply help out a buddy of yours. That's why he got so triggered by the question. It was a perfectly reasonable question. How dare you? And, of course, this is the same problem. Trump recognizes on some deep level that people who voted for him many rural farmers are now being screwed by him once again. And listen, I can say this because I'm not a candidate for office. I'm happy to court these rural farmers like, hey, vote Democrat next time. But also, like, guys, you've done this 2 times now, because when Trump was president in term 1, he screwed soybean farmers the first time with his ridiculous trade war on China. He's now done it again. So it's like, guys, like, Democrats want to help you out, but maybe you should start voting for Democrats, given that every time you vote for Trump, you fuck up spectacularly because he fucks up spectacularly. Maybe we need to have that conversation. So again, Trump just getting triggered over perfectly reasonable questions. Here's another clip.
With soybeans and on Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the bail swap. So
Making beef?
are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef. Yeah,
No,
to get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
Argentinian beef. Okay, interesting. Beef is not the only thing that's high on Trump's watch. He would have to be high to say that, but of course he's a pathological dishonest person. And again, a question about soybeans and China. China, the second biggest economy on earth that Trump admitted he triggered an unsustainable, those were his words, unsustainable trade war with.
President, on soybeans, are you confident that you'll be able to get it?
I want them to buy soybeans. One of the things I want is China's going to buy soybeans. I want China to stop with the fentanyl. Very, normal things. I don't want them to play the rare earth game with us.
But you want them to, but do you think they will make a deal on soybeans?
I do believe, yeah, because otherwise I'm not going to make a deal. No, I want them to buy. Our farmers have been boycotted by China as a negotiating point. I don't want that. Our farmers are great, and in particular our soybean farmers, and I want them to start buying soybeans, at least in the amount that they were buying before.
Right, so China was buying soybeans, which benefited soybean farmers. They stopped buying soybeans because you triggered an unsustainable trade war with them with your ridiculous tariffs. It is objectively 100% your fault, Donald Trump. They didn't do this under President Biden, who was objectively superior on economic management than you. So this is your fault. And again, while all of this is going on, Trump maintains the unsustainable trade war with China that's hurting soybean farmers, many of whom voted for him. He's sending $20 billion in taxpayer funds to Argentina to help out a buddy. And he's thinking about some sort of taxpayer subsidy for soybean farmers here, many of whom don't want it. They just want their business back, so they want Trump to stop doing what he's doing. Again, it's just patently absurd. It's self-defeating. It's chaos. It's Donald Trump.
Besides San Francisco, are there other cities you're actively looking at for the National Guard right now?
Yeah? What about it?
I'm just wondering if you care to comment on that.
Well, we've used the National Guard to be very successful in Memphis. You can see the numbers are falling like rocks. Washington, D.C., Chicago's getting better, even though we're going through a lot. And, we're trying to do it in a very nice way. I'm allowed, as you know, as president, like 50% of the presidents have used the Insurrection Act. They can use that, and everybody agrees you're allowed to use that, and there's no more court cases, there's no more anything. We're trying to do it in a nicer manner. But we can always use the Insurrection Act if we want. I mean, you take a look in the past, one in particular president used it 28 times during the course of a presidency. So we're allowed to do that. We thought we could do it in a very nice way. All we want to do is have...
So again, he's repeating himself while also simultaneously threatening that he may invoke the Insurrection Act so he can just, flex his, fulfill his authoritarian dream to try to send the military into, in particular, blue cities and blue states, because that's really what he wants. He wants the sort of power domestically that Xi Jinping has in China or Vladimir Putin has in Russia. That's what Donald Trump wants, and he's getting, it looks like, increasingly likely to invoking the Insurrection Act to get his way.
What is your response to the protests?
Who are you with?
I'm with the AP.
With AP?
What's your response to the protests over the weekend, the No Kings protests?
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
So funny, pure cope. 7 million Americans turned out for the No Kings protests, which were massively successful and peaceful. 2 million more than the June 14th No Kings protests, which were already massively successful, infinitely greater than any Trump rally or pro-Trump demonstrations. He is again outnumbered in this respect, and that's why he spent the weekend hiding in shame, because he said, I don't think anybody's going to turn out. And then it's like, oh shit, everybody's turning out. And so he hid like the loser and coward that he is. And now he's doubling down on the claims like, well, Soros funded them. Okay, what? Number one, do you have evidence of that? Number two, what laws did any funders or organizers break exactly? Are you saying it's illegal to pay for signs that protesters use to protest? What are you getting at, man? But he doesn't know. He just hates the fact that he was humiliated and repudiated on a large scale, and it seems like it's only going to get worse for him.
Mr. President, sticking with New York City, you've talked about the Hudson River Tunnel, the infrastructure project. So you said that the funding has been terminated, but, folks in New York have said that it's not terminated. So where does that stand?
Well, as of now, it's terminated, and that's up to me. And as of now, it's terminated, and it's terminated because the Democrats are so foolish what they've done to the country. I mean, we have the hottest country in the world. There's no country even close, and they just want to do this. There's nothing for them to do. All they have to do is just say, let everything continue.
So again, he's indicating that this massive infrastructure spending bill, which will impact and benefit Republicans in New York and New Jersey, not just Democrats, he's screwing them over just intentionally in order to stick it to Chuck Schumer and the Democrats and try to force them to bend the knee. Democrats should be running wild with this in terms of like campaigns and advertising, like, hey, New York and New Jersey Republicans, this asshole whom you voted for, this is what he's doing to you. He hates you. He has contempt for you. Maybe you should vote for somebody else. Here's another clip.
Friday, you said you had a cordial meeting with President Zelensky. During that meeting, did you tell him he needed to cede all of the Donbass region to Russia?
No, we never discussed it. We think that what they should do is just stop at the lines where they are, the battle lines. You have a battle line right now. The rest is very tough to negotiate. If you're going to say, you take this, we take that, there's so many different permutations. So what I say is they should stop right now at the battle lines. Go home, stop killing people, and be done.
What do you think should happen with the Donbass region then?
Let it be cut the way it is. It's cut up right now. I think 78% of the land is already taken by Russia. You leave it the way it is right now.
So again, and I know we normally stick to domestic policy stuff, but do you understand how he just basically rejected the premise of the question, but then in his answer repeated the premise of the question? So, hey, it was reported that you told Zelensky that he just needs to give the Donbass region up to Putin. Oh, I never said that. That's fake news. Well, what do you believe? I believe that he should leave it the way it is. What do you mean leave it the way it is? Well, 78% of the Donbass region is currently occupied by Putin. I think Zelensky should let it go. Okay, gotcha. So you didn't say, hey, you need to give up 100% of the Donbass region. You only say and believe that he should give up 78% of the Donbass. It's so funny. I didn't say that you should leave your home. I didn't say you should give your home, you give your house to your neighbor. I just said that you should let your neighbor have 78% of it. What the hell are you talking about, man? Just again, so stupid. He doesn't even plan the shit out. He has no forethought. It's just one syllable to the next, not realizing that he just reaffirmed the very premise of the question that he tried to deny.
A July survey
Who are
by
you with, Bruce?
the Washington Post. A July survey by your pollster, Tony Fabrizio, found that 72% of voters across political parties like the ACA tax credits. Are you worried that you might get blamed if you don't help get them through?
Well, we want to have great health care, so we'll do whatever we can do to have great health care. But the Democrats want to destroy all health care because they want to give $1.5 trillion of this money, and they want additional money to go to people that came into our country illegally. Many of them are from prisons and mental institutions.
This has been fact-checked, debunked to hell and back, and it's not reflected as getting any purchase in the polls. The polls show that Americans are actually rejecting this. The fact of the matter is Trump has an atrocious reputation on healthcare. He's never accomplished anything meaningful on healthcare. Democrats, as unpopular as we are at the moment, that's one area where we have a landslide advantage over Trump, so he's truly pissing in the wind on this so far, at the very least. Here's another clip.
Mr. President, on the shutdown, do you want to see the premium tax credits extended if the Democrats vote to reopen the government?
Let me just tell you that there'll be no money given toward their crazy escalation of giving money to illegal aliens that came into the country totally illegally. I mean, they came in illegally. They want to spend $1.5 trillion with a T, trillion dollars, giving it to people that came into the country illegally. They shouldn't have come in. In fact, one of the reasons...
Again, just, he's lying. It's been fact-checked to hell and back. There's federal law preventing the use of funds being given to healthcare for undocumented people. If what he's talking about is they want illegal immigrants to be able to go to the emergency room. That is a matter of federal law. Since President Reagan, a Republican passed a law that says, hey, emergency rooms, they have to treat anybody who comes in, regardless of their ethnicity or nationality or whether they're here in a documented form or an illegal form. So again, just Trump is lying his ass off. We're going to close with this clip here.
The Colombian president says that U.S. killed a innocent Colombian fisherman in one of the strikes.
He said that when we shot down a submarine, that they were just fishing. This is a submarine. This was a submarine that was meant, by the way, this was a submarine that was meant for one reason and made for one reason, to carry massive amounts of drugs. Yeah, go ahead.
So again, there's increasing evidence that Donald Trump is just murdering people, using the military to kill not just suspected drug traffickers, which again, even if they are drug traffickers, you need to interdict. You may kill in self-defense if you're the U.S. military. If you try to interdict somebody and they attack you, then that's one thing. But Trump is ordering the United States military in the international waters to attack people from other countries, Venezuela, Colombia. And he claims, well, they're valid targets. He offers no substantiation of that claim. And now the Colombian president, Petro, is now saying that, well, actually, you didn't just murder a drug trafficker, drug smuggler. You murdered an innocent person. So again, all sorts of shit that we're seeing from the Trump administration. That was a disastrous exchange with reporters. But that's because Trump is panicked over the fact that he's losing on so many fronts. Now, again, he still is in power for at least the next 3 years. So, at a certain point, the polls stop mattering unless people turn out to vote in 2026 and 2028. So, folks, that's something to keep in mind. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.